do this.
Mic check.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tactically Guided. I'm Patrick.
I'm Hunter.
Liberty. I have to do it every time. All right, on today's episode, we're going to throw it back a little bit. Instead of talking about 90s to current warfare and how shitty the Russians are, which I'm sure we'll get into that at some point because we always end up doing that. We're going to be talking about World War I and basically the brutality of it. And it's really going to segue more into what we were talking about last time with Grozny and the armored column, because it goes into the birth of armored warfare. So I'm definitely going to be kicking that part. But start us out, Hunter.
They had the shittiest nickname for this war. It was called the Mother of All Wars, or the War to End All Wars.
Yeah, we see how that went.
But this is episode 16, World War I. Someone turned on friendly fire mode in hardcore.
Oh, you read that. God, you're dyslexic. Someone turned on friendly fire for hardcore mode.
I'm fucking retarded. All right. We'll bring all the horrors of modern warfare to Europe, from horses to tanks, from biplanes to carrier pigeons. It's just basically a shitty version of a Travis Scott concert.
All right, we're going to kick it off with casualty figures. So during World War I and World War II, we saw a massive stint during that time of technological advances and stuff like that. And for this, how technological updates surpass military tactics. One might say line dancing into a wall of lead is a bad fucking idea. World War I veterans were recorded many years later to say, "We wouldn't run as it was an ungentlemanly thing to do." Whatever the fuck that means.
And we'll talk a little bit about the casualty figures. So you had two sides to it. You had the Allied and Central Powers.
I always thought it was Axis powers, but
well, it was the Allied being what we would know as like England, France, for a part of it, Russia, Italy. But on the Central Power side, that was Germany, Austria, Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. But it's basically for the Allied powers, they lost 5.5 million dead, 12.8 million wounded. That's a total of 18.3 million casualties, and another 4 million civilians. For the
Central Powers, it was 4,386,000 military dead, 8,388,000 dead, for a total of 12,774,000 KIA. And then their civilian casualties were 7,700,000. So, I mean, that's, and like I was saying before we started, like, let's compare that to the fucking 20-year war we just got out of. Let's compare that to fucking, the Desert Shield, Desert Storm to Iraq. And there's no comparison to that, really. And realistically, you can't really compare the two anyways, because one is conventional warfare, which we haven't fought since World War II, and unconventional / fucking insurrection.
So
I'm wrong.
What we would categorize this war as a conventional war, but we would categorize it as what's called a total war, meaning you are putting your economic might behind it. Everything is going towards a war effort. You've mobilized your populations. You have basically restructured society and the economy for the premise of conducting warfare. This was everybody. So everybody was all in. There weren't people going to the fucking mall on the weekend like when we were either deployed or what have you. But
when you're fucking ported or whatever. Right?
And we look at low intensity conflicts. We still have, I wouldn't call it a total war situation. We haven't had one of those since World War II, but there are countries that have staggering death figures. It's just nobody gives a shit about them because they're not, they're
not world powers.
They're not world powers. For instance, Ethiopia is right now at about I think it's 3 million dead. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, their civil war is 8 million dead. Casualty figures start to creep up pretty bad. I think they're at 250,000 casualties if you add them together with the Ukrainians and the Russians. But what makes this one so brutal was the fact that this was a post-Napoleonic military. So they started off with horses and trains. The advent of machine guns Mines were a new concept. Gas was a new concept. And we'll get into that when we talk a little bit about the weaponry.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a lot of bodies with some very primitive firepower. Like, for instance, the Civil War. Those guys were killed with muskets. When you think that 24,000 Americans died at the Battle of Antietam. And if I own a musket. Have you shot a musket?
I've never shot one. I did buy one off a guy in a parking lot once.
But to think of what used to be prior to that, because the previous conflict to this that was pretty bad, that brought everything to the forefront when it came to the leap in technology, was the Boer Wars down in South Africa.
Yeah.
But when we look at this,
I briefly remember going through the Boer Wars at some point in my life.
It was an interesting low intensity conflict in South Africa. But when we look at this, we've basically, when we call it a total war scenario, they have brought their entire economy to bear. So everything is pumping everything out, from weapons to everything evolved as well. These guys started off wearing like basically shitty civilian clothes, body armor, suppressors, so many things wound up coming to the forefront of this conflict, because it's necessity is the mother of all, or inventions are the mother of all necessity. It's something like that. Human beings are really good at creating things, and when we want to kill each other, we're even better at doing that, if that makes sense.
Well, we've been doing it since biblical times. So
I mean, yeah, cavemen were found with like arrows in their rib cages and shit. That's metal.
That's metal as fuck.
So we'll talk a little bit about weapons, direct and indirect, gas, flamethrowers, our favorite, tanks,
armored warfare,
trains, and horses. It almost sounds like a tank, planes, trains, and automobiles. Just a lot of fucking gas and dead bodies.
Just imagine that movie reinvented if you're old enough to have seen it.
Who the fuck needs PPE anyways? You got your fur coat, you got your fur hat.
As the the EAS song states, PPE prevents proper engagement.
Sadly, it does. You fucking running around like the Michelin Man with side sappies in.
Oh yeah, we went from this where, let's see, for PPE, these motherfuckers had fur hats and gas masks. Talk about Peter Griffin dressed as a clown patrolling in Vietnam from Family Guy.
Yeah.
Like, you stand the fuck out. Like,
yeah,
no use of camouflage. Which I guess after a while of being bombarded and in your fucking trenches, you're just covered in mud and blood anyways. So you kind of just match the landscape.
It was literally, what did they say about camouflage? They said it was cowardly. The same way that redcoats used to wear the bright colored coats of red. It was gentlemanly to Napoleonic style warfare to get online, wear all your goofy shit, your plumes, your fucking kilts, all this stuff.
And then stand there and wait for me to reload.
Yeah, it was stupid. Now, some people came into it with a little bit more forethought. Like, when you look at what the Axis powers did from the Ottoman Empire, they wore tan uniform. Germans wore a gray and sometimes black uniform. Mm-hmm. And they actually had these shitty little parade helmets.
With the fucking...
You look at the Russian
Kaiser spike.
The Russians and the French had peaked wool caps. The Brits had basically those cop/bus driver hats. Yep. By the end of the war, you had the doughboy helmets. You had the Stammhelm, which is a steel helmet. See a lot of bikers wearing it. I don't know what the appeal is. But you also had gas masks. Snipers started to wear, they had these metal sniper blinds. Guys had, if you look at the Italian Arditi, which are the most badass motherfuckers of World War I, these guys were the first dudes to parachute out of a plane. They would wear, body armor. I think I have on my Instagram page, it says covers for pussies, and it shows 3 of these dudes with, bullets stuck in their, metal plate armor that they're wearing.
So they were going back to, the days of the fucking knights and shit, walking around wearing full-ass fucking metal armor.
And they needed to hide. They needed to hide their signature while shooting, so they came up with suppressors. They went from air-cooled to water-cooled to hydraulic-assisted machine guns. They went from shitty weaponry and shitty clothing. By the end of it, you were almost at a pre-World War II armament as far as PPE, as far as weapons. Hell, we were these the channelization that we occurred with machine guns, with barbed wire, and all these things. We went from horses to moving towards a more mobile warfare, which was like tracked vehicles, tired vehicles. I mean, these powers were managed to mobilize their entire military by the minute with train schedules. If you think about that, that's incredibly impressive, seeing that it took Ukraine, who was in like a state of war, to be able to mobilize their population. It took them almost 60 days.
Yeah, and these
local.
guys did it
Instantaneously. And the railroads were a huge deal for that. To this day, Russia still relies on railroads. Like, they do not have a stratcom like we do.
Yeah, which is, if you think about it, just like in World War I, that's at this point with technology, it's dumb to rely heavily on that, because what would people do? They would send out fucking like scout missions, sabotage missions,
skirmishers too. They would have skirmishers, which is wild.
They would send these motherfuckers out to like booby trap the fucking tracks to cut supply lines. Like planes, even in World War II, were that was not an avenue, but that was a target for them, was to bombard those supply lines.
So for trench warfare, it was basically the machine gunnery infancy, and they learned how to channelize with barbed wire using area denial. So they would put mines out there. They used walls of artillery falling. They would use mines, gas mines, everything from like booby traps, like straight up like falling in like barbed wire pits, to like the ground that they were on was actually, there's the instances of these craters where they're so muddy that you would fall into it and it would suck you in.
And you would get stuck, and nobody could come help you, because what did all that create?
No man's land.
Exactly. So if you went out into no man's land to retrieve somebody,
They had dogs, they had horses. So this is the infancy of modern warfare. But like we were saying earlier, the weaponry and technology surpassed the ability to actually fucking think. So you had tens of thousands of soldiers basically gentlemanly moving towards machine guns.
Moving towards a wall of fucking
The
lead.
Battle of the Somme, it was like 250,000 human beings died in one day. But not to go down a rabbit hole of decay and debauchery and loss of life, let's do, what is the next thing? The ready?
So, all right. So one of the things is it's ready on way.
Ready on
one
way.
of the things that tankers say when they load the breech, they say ready, and then the actual gunner will say on way, sends the round.
That's what they. Oh, I saw Fury, and
that's what they say in Fury. He's saying on way, and then he's sending it.
Hell, fuck yeah!
And he's yelling on way, so the rest of the crew knows that he's doing that. And I wasn't a tanker by any means, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, no Marine's a tanker right now.
Yeah, no Marine's a tanker. Hey, you motherfuckers used to give me shit all the time, and then you came over to my fucking MOS.
Whether you went to the army.
Or you went to the army. So World War I, as we briefly touched on, was the birth of tank and armored warfare, starting in 1915 when the tea-sipping British rolled out the prototype Little Willie off the assembly line in England.
Can I say that is not a good tank for a name for a tank? Little Willie.
Not Little Willie.
It's usually like Butcher, or like don't they put shit on the barrels?
Well, when a crew names their vehicle, they'll put shit on there like that. Like one of the tracks I had out in 29 Palms, I named it Helena. And that was one of the best tracks that I ever rolled with off the ESD lot.
I just do not think that a German would be in the trenches screaming, "Watch out for the little Willie!
Little Willie is going to get
He's
us.
going to come! Everybody drop and
He's
run!
going to come!
We're late for our schnitzel!"
Why so sauerkraut?
Maybe it was a pun. Maybe it was like Little John with Robin Hood. He's actually a big guy. Maybe. I don't know. Sorry.
I think that's where they were going with it. So they roll Little Willie off the assembly line. With the introduction of the tank as a war machine, it changed the way that both the Central and Allied powers fought the trench war. One, it was a capability that would be able to cross no man's land unless you're getting bombarded by artillery, which obviously that's going to be the first reaction of the force that the trench you're trying to overtake. That's going to be the first reaction to try to hit you and grid point you with arty and mortars. So like that, obviously would be a thing, but it was scary. It was intimidating. It was intimidating to hear that engine roll and see one coming at you.
It's like a porcupine with machine guns. Like the psychological sight of being a guy who, when he was born, the telegraph, like electricity and the telegraph were just created. Like we had just finished. The person that's fighting in this war was born around the time that, a little bit after we ended slavery. Like so this is insane. For us, it would be like if aliens showed up and started shooting lasers and teleported. We'd be like
holy fucking Star Wars.
Yeah. Imagine being that poor bastard. What the fuck is that? That's a tank. Okay, I quit. Time to go off. I'm logging off. I'm logging
hat off.
I'm quitting. Turn friendly fire back on.
Fucking. Well, yeah. So it was a totally devastating invention for its time. With it, it turned the tide of the war. It brought both infantry battalions and divisions to their knees at the sight of this fucking armored pig rolling at them, right? And then they, started developing anti-tank mines. They started developing infantry procedures to dispose of said tank without having an opposing tank. But that came later on, because as it would with any opposing force. So we rolled our first tanks off the line. We were the first ones to get them. Then, what did the Krauts do?
It's
invented a fucking tank.
It's the tactical pitter-patter. When you came up with an IED, they came up with an IED, we came up with a counter to it. They would counter that, and we would counter it. So you came up with tanks. They're going to figure out, okay, we're going to counter it with something to counter that. Yeah. And then it came into, well, we'll use landmines. And then the Allied powers were like, well, we'll do metal detection. Okay, well, now we'll make our landmines out of wood. Now, it's the mother of necessity.
Now, something, I didn't put this in the notes, but it's just something that actually it kind of popped in my head here. So, with the invention of the tank and how devastating it was to the Germans during World War I, what did they do, and how did World War II go when it came to tank warfare?
They went fetal.
Like
for the initial stages, when you look at the French saw it as a complement to the infantry, whereas the German Wehrmacht actually were doing their, in 1932 and 1934, were doing reconnaissance with armored warfare. They also were talking to the Soviets. They came up with the Blitzkrieg, using an entire armored unit as its own maneuver force. To everybody else, they're like, that's crazy. The tank is supposed to support the infantry. It's a maneuver element, which is why every time the French tanks went up, the French tanks were better than the German tanks. The Germans had, unless you're speaking about the Italians, they had probably the shittier tanks of all the powers. If you look at
World War
II. World War II.
I was about to say the Panzer and the Tiger. At first sight of a Tiger.
But we're talking about the T-34. Well, we can talk about that. But what we're basically saying is they created this tank and it was supposed to be with infantry, and they're like, oh shit, it's like shots. You do a shot with a beer. Why don't I just keep taking a bunch of shots? You can throw these armor right down the throat of these motherfuckers, and there's nothing they can do. They can use pack guns. They can use artillery to direct fire it.
Yep.
Then they threw it in tanks, and then you had an assault gun, right?
Yeah.
It's an assault gun.
Yeah.
But
everything's assault.
It's a good point, Pat. Like when somebody is like, oh, well, this is cool. What happens if we get a bunch of them? Well, okay, now we have a tank division.
Yeah, we have holy fuck. Why do we need dudes on the ground when we have these big ass armored vehicles? But then when you do something like that, then who you're going against is going to pick that up too, and they're going to do it, and they're going to try to do it better. Which is why in the earlier stages of World War II, the Germans ran that shit.
Yeah.
The only reason we really beat them tank on tank was because we had more numbers.
Oh yeah, the Sherman.
Like the Shermans were, I'm not gonna say garbage, but they were not up to par in a one-on-one with Tigers and Panzers.
The Willy itself is a massive, and the tracks ran around the entire vehicle. So when we're talking about the first tanks that came across, these things had machine guns and they had fixed breech loading. What were they? They were.
I want to say it was like
75 millimeter.
Yeah, it wasn't the same thing as a 120 or something like that. It wasn't anywhere close.
It wasn't
to
in
what
the triple digit numbers,
no,
but
it was still a devastating round on impact.
Yeah, when you're going against guys that are wearing fucking fur coats and single shot fucking
Muskets
bolt
and-
action rifles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you mount a machine gun in that thing, and there's just people that are not anticipating what the fuck was going to happen. And
Yeah.
you could take a lot of ground with these tanks, but you still needed to have infantry to
Yeah.
get in there.
Yeah, and like I had said before, this ties into our previous episodes talking about armored warfare, i.e., the past 2 episodes, the Chatoy ambush and Grozny, right? So that's why I kind of wanted to do a World War One episode, because it takes us all the way back to the roots of when this shit actually came about, that we were using armored warfare. So shortly after the Germans saw the first tank fuck up their troops, trenches, and equipment, they started producing their own death machines that led into an industrial war complex for the next 2 decades, and some of the biggest technological advances in history across the entire world. And like I mentioned before, the term "on way" is what a gunner of the tank says before sending a round downrange to blow the fuck out of enemy armor and troop emplacements.
And now we're going to talk about how fucking dumb people were back then.
Oh God, yeah.
So some of the initial things that came out of this was, again, somebody created gas to kill people. So what was their response? Gas masks for horses, gas masks for dogs. When we look at the machine gun, these were fabric belted machine guns. They were air cooled. They were basically very primitive, and they were very heavy. So you had to put them on wheels. You'll see. It's kind of goofy. They're wheeled machine guns that you would pull up into there.
Did I show you? It's Tippmann armament. Not to be confused with Tippmann paintball guns. Figured that out. Tippmann armament actually started making old belt-fed.
Men don't have tits. Sorry, what did they start making?
They started making old fucking crank fucking 9mm machine guns, right? And one of them is on an old wheeled chassis, just like what they used to use then.
Huh. That's fucking cool.
With the big ass fucking tires, so you could roll it over terrain and shit, just like they had to do back then.
Do you want to hear a trivia fact?
Trivia.
What is the most produced rifle in the world?
M1 Grants?
Nope. Everybody always says an AK, right? People are like, the AK.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's the Car 98 and its variants. A World War I gun is the most population-wise, is the most produced weapon on Earth. The Mauser that the Germans had.
Yeah.
But we also look at this when we were talking about how the Russians and Donbass are using fucking Mosin Nagants. They're still using Mosin Nagants.
Yeah.
They have the I think it's called, I might be wrong, it's called an MP150. It's a shovel. The Russians are still issuing it. They're using a rifle round for their PKM, obviously, or PKP and their SVDs. They're using a rifle round from 1891. That's a testament not to just how shitty the Russian military is, because you literally suck.
But that's also a testament to that technology.
It's devastating for that round. It's a good hunting round. I've shot deer with it out of an SVT. A lot of the things that we wound up doing in World War I, as far as suppressors, camouflage, by the end of it, these guys were on point, right? And they data dumped everything. They data dumped it, and they didn't realize that. And we had how many marksmanship programs in World War I? Before it, none. During World War I, we started making marksmanship programs. The AND suppressors, ghillie suits.
Isn't that when, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that when, like, not when, but one of the reasons that we went to kind of the same method that the Marine Corps uses in boot camp, where the way that we shoot for Table 1?
Yes.
That's where that's from.
500 meters, because you look at Belleau Wood, the French were engaging at 150, 200 meters. These guys were able to hit targets, iron sights at 600 meters.
Yep.
Honest to God, when they talk about marksmanship, that's the entire premise behind it. It's also where you got military haircuts from. Before World War I, guys used to have luscious locks of hair.
Yep.
They used to have beards, mustaches, but what trench warfare creates is this abomination of fucking death, destruction, and basically rotting corpses. You had
Bacteria,
rats, bacteria, lice. It's where the Spanish flu came from. Like, this is where millions of people died. It was actually pigs from France, but they call it the Spanish flu. But it started in the trenches.
Yep. And that's why...
and trench foot.
The Hitler mustache. The reason Hitler had the mustache the way he did, and it's actually the reason that the Marine Corps, and I don't know if the other branches do it or not, but the reason that we had the grooming standards that we had came from World War I because of the fucking gas.
For
and
the seal.
fact that you couldn't seal a gas mask to your face if you had a big ass fucking mustache.
For those gas masks.
Yeah.
Now,
well, it was where the concept came from in general.
It's the same thing as firefighters in general can't have beards. Aren't allowed to have beards.
So they do the
giant mustache. The new, with the advances of technology and SCBA and different respirators, you can get away with having beards and wearing a gas mask now. But it was a knee-jerk reaction to it. So long hair, they just started shaving people's heads because you're in the trench. And the thing is the Allies got the shit end of the stick. The Central Powers dug all their trenches. They actually had higher ground in almost every single offense. The Allied powers had to dig in a shitty area that was drenched in water. There was blood, there was guts, there was literally, you'd go to a trench that was seized, and that's where they buried some of these guys. Like, guys would be in, like, the Allies would take a Central Power trench, and an artillery bombardment would come down, and then they would see like an arm sticking out of the fucking side of it. And the rats, the amount of trench foot. I think the Brits...
That's where the term trench foot came from.
The Brits were the first people to keep a statistic, and they had 73,000 treatments or cases of trench foot.
Yep.
73,000. And it's brutal because these guys were wearing leather boots, they had wool uniforms, and it was either freezing cold. You can look, there's pictures that are comparing Ukraine to trench warfare. And I would like you to look at it. It's definitely interesting.
Like they built up the wall, to go off of what you were saying, they built up the walls of these trenches with the dead bodies.
Yeah.
Too. So not only did they like use sandbags and shit too, but they were using the fucking corpses of their fallen guys to fucking build those fucking walls up.
We got to talk about the original highway of death in the Iran-Iraq war. The Iraqis built an entire road out of Iranian corpses. Metal as fuck. For realsies.
For realsies.
No take backsies.
No take backsies.
Hell yeah.
All right, any last minute thoughts on World War I here?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're making this a little bit shorter of an episode because the last episode was...
Just don't do the Macarena around fucking landmines and barbed wire. You're going to get fucking shot by somebody who can barely read and write.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's very interesting because we see how much they fucked up and then they fixed it, and then everybody's like, that'll never happen again. Same thing's happening right now with the Marine Corps. They don't want tanks, they don't want snipers, they don't want assaultmen. It's all going to blow back in their face. There's going to be a lot of dead Marines, and people are going to say, where are all these red flags? And we're going to fucking tell you right here.
In previous wars, because we rinse and repeat after every fucking war and forget everything that we learned in the previous war, and we've done that shit for decades.
Ever. All right.
Well, a century now. So, trench guns. I've had one of those before, with an M7 bayonet on the end of it. God, I wish I had that to kill Germans with.
Dude.
Back then, not now.
It just blows my mind that, like, we showed up with fucking trench guns, the 1897 trench gun, and the Germans are like, you can't use that. You can't use that. You're slaughtering people in the tens of thousands. You're poisoning them with gas, but some fucking doughboy jumps into your fucking trench and then puts 12 fucking gauges of shit in your face. Like, it's insane.
And if he doesn't do that, he stabs you with a fucking bayonet.
Oh yeah, it comes with a bayonet. It's a fucking shotgun with a bayonet, and you are attacking somebody. That's the most American fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, literally, you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, well, it's inhumane because it's a shotgun. Well, no shit, dumbass. You're like gassing people. Like, if you really want to fucking get your point across with clearing trenches, submachine guns or area weapons, and like a shotgun at that distance is going to be an area weapon.
Fucking devastating.
Yeah.
6 feet, fucking 12 gauge buckshot.
blowing a hole in you.
Entrance hole like that, because the wad doesn't have time to fucking expand. So like imagine that.
Turns your insides into fucking Legos. Like the thing that just pisses me off is that they were like, oh, the Germans were like, this is a war crime. It's like, okay, motherfucker, like you're gassing people. You're literally gassing people.
Fucking mustard gas. And we briefly talked on that.
It's like when they bitch about cops carrying hollow points. Does the lady that's parking her car really give a fuck about that? Do I? Do you?
No, like the whole point of a hollow point is the fact that it stays.
Yeah.
It doesn't over penetrate and hits the lady parking her car behind the fucking dude drawing a gun on you.
I just think it's fucking retarded for somebody to be like, oh, you can't use a shotgun in war, when like we've done so many other horrible things.
Or flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers are hot.
We should have used we should keep using flamethrowers. But like either you're gonna burn to death or you're gonna suffocate. One of the two. Figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't start the war, we wouldn't have to use our murder sticks to clear out your fucking trenches.
Exactly. So. Like it was trench warfare. Like anything goes. Honestly, in war, I really think anything should go.
It should go. Honestly.
On our side.
Well, it's within the law of armed conflict.
Yeah. Wait, there's a law of armed conflict?
There's a law of armed conflict.
I always thought that was the Geneva suggestion.
There's LOAC, the laws of land warfare, Geneva Convention. They all really don't matter because we're the only ones that abide by it. Or some pussy lawyer in the EU.
Like anyone realistically that we're going to go to that we're going to go against, and in a situation where it's a total war again, and that would probably actually be the world's war to end all wars at this point in technological advancement. Shit happens, it's fucking go balls to the wall, use everything you fucking have.
It wouldn't be my primary, but I'd carry a fucking murder stick with a 3-inch slug. You can kill bear with it. Dude, if it can kill a bear, it can kill anybody. So, like, if you're going into the trenches, like, I don't, is this green? Is it a green weapon? Does it have a low carbon footprint? Is it humane? No, I want the thing that turns somebody inside out so that his buddy next to him goes, I think I fucked up. I might put my weapons down. Exactly. But also the cool thing about that gun, the 1897, it had a bayonet like this fucking long, bigger than your mom's dildo. It's fucking huge. And that's going through you, and then you're fucking slamming those rounds into them. That's one of the coolest things about breaching on a door is like, you can go ham. You can just slam that thing as you're slamming, pull the trigger, you're racking it forward, you slide it back, and you're just doing it twice. It's boom, boom. Now imagine you have a fucking little pointy stick on the end of that. That goes in the dude's face, and the next thing you know is he has a fucking really close haircut. I'm just saying, like, don't fuck with an 18-year-old with a shotgun in the trenches. Oh. Rant over. Sorry.
Rant over. All right, guys. All right. I wanted to end that.
I'm bitter because I'm bald.
I'm working on it. That's why I wear a hat all the time. You guys have seen me without a hat before. All right. On that note, we're going to go ahead and cut this one. Like I said before, we did an hour and a half on the last one, and we'd sit here and go ham for 2 fucking hours talking about this shit. And I wanted to end that on a funny note and talking about the trench gun because trench gun's fucking is king. It was king of World War I.
Nobody speaks.
And flamethrowers.
Nobody speaks while I'm holding the murder stick. Well, we didn't.
I have the talking stick.
I completely forgot about that and the grenade bundles, flamethrowers and grenade bundles. I forgot. We'll hit it up again.
Yeah, we'll come back. Yeah. All right, guys. On that note. Appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate everyone that's also watching or listening to the Spotify. Appreciate all that. I appreciate all the follows and shit that we're getting on the Instagram now, and continuing to grow our subscribers. So definitely like and subscribe. My goal by the end of this year is to. I know this doesn't sound like much because we really started digging into this shit. So, but 200 subscribers by the end of the year. If we get that shit in a couple of months, I'll be fucking ecstatic. We'll do a 200 subscriber episode or some shit. Maybe a giveaway. Maybe. But on that note, take us out.
Math is for nerds, and it's not gay if you're cold. There we go. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Definitely like, subscribe, leave a comment.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Episode 17.
17.
Coming in a week.
I was gonna say come everywhere in a week. Don't get in my hair.